Hi homesteaders, my name is Melissa with Gullion Homestead and welcome to my channel where we focus on homesteading skills, self-sufficiency, and resilience. Today we're going to talk about buying spices and herbs and seasonings in bulk, but before we start I want to make sure I tell you about our website that we have launched with our blog post. That is at gullionhomestead.com. If you visit that website, you can actually see some of the blog posts that we're sharing here on video, plus more. We've got lots of things that we have planned for 2024, and we currently have 2 blog posts on there, and we're getting ready to add this one as well. So we hope that you will join us in that community. And then also, we would love if you find this video helpful, if you could actually subscribe to our channel and like our page on YouTube. So let's get started. So I started buying my seasonings and herbs in bulk about a year ago. And one of the reasons I decided to start doing it is I started to challenge everything in my kitchen, everything that that we eat. I wanted to make sure that it was good for us, that it was not modified in any way, and also that it was the best price. So in doing that, many of you know that I shop Azure Standard and I get a monthly order from them. And I started to buy my spices in bulk. Now, here in a bit, I'll show you actually what my spices look like in bulk. I save them in ball jars like this with wood lids that pop off and have a seal. So they're sealed really nicely. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how much money you can save based on what you're buying at the store. A lot of people don't look at the per ounce price, and I did not either. And when I started to actually research how much I was spending on spices, I was like dumbfounded by how much money was going out. So I actually did a calculation for you guys so you would know exactly how much savings you could get in a year. So I bought these chives not that long ago. I was out of chives. Don't really use chives a whole lot, but I started to create some of my own mixes and seasonings, and you need chives for that. And so I went and bought this little thing of McCormick's Gourmet chives, and it was really the only bottle that I could find at my local grocery store. And I have it written down right here for you guys, I paid $4.50 for this little bottle. And this bottle is 0.12 ounces. It's not an ounce, it's 0.12. Okay, so this little bottle is what I have in here right now. I poured it in there. And then I went to Azure Standard and I decided that I was going to go ahead and buy some herbs or buy some chives on there. I needed it for something that I was going to be making, and I'd like to have all of my spices in stock. We'll talk about that here shortly. But I bought this bag. This is 4 ounces. This 4-ounce bag will probably last me, I would imagine, will last me a year. Some things I buy in a pound. Here is minced, let's see, there's minced garlic, and I've got minced onion. Those are 1-pound bags. But chives are really light, and so a 4-ounce bag is probably going to be enough for me. So when I bought this 4-ounce bag from Azure, I just actually picked it up today. It was $7.25 for 4 ounces. That makes my chives $29 a pound, which seems crazy to me that you would spend $29 a pound on chives. But when you see how much money you're spending at the grocery store per pound, you're going to be shocked. So this is $29 per pound for 4 ounces. This is probably going to last me a year, I would imagine. When I looked at how much this costs, because it's not even an ounce, again, as a reminder, it's 0.12 ounces. So you're talking a tenth or less, or a little bit more than that. A tenth of an ounce is what's in here in your chive. And this ends up being $600 per pound. And I know that you're going to be like, that's not true. Yes, it is. Calculate it. $4.50 for 0.12 ounces equals $600 a pound. So you're either going to spend $29 a pound buying it this way, or $600 a pound. Now, I know the reality is you're not going to spend $600 on a pound of chives throughout the year. But my point is that if you were looking at the per ounce price, imagine if you did that with every spice or seasoning that you had, how much money you would save. And so that is what I'm doing, is challenging everything in my kitchen to make sure that I'm getting the lowest price point possible. So why is this so expensive? Well, first of all, you're paying for a brand, and they have to be able to support their brand. They have to be able to support advertising and distribution and all kinds of things. Then also, it comes in a little glass jar, so that is pricey. And then they have to pay for the label. So there's lots of things that they have to pay for. They have to pay for their employees, so that this is why this price is so much. The point is when you go to the grocery store, you typically can't find spices in bulk unless you go to an international grocery store or you buy something online. So when you go to Kroger, Walmart, Meijer, any of those, whatever, Winn-Dixie, whatever your grocery store is, this is how you're going to find your spices and your seasonings. And typically what happens is you spend $4 to $6 on a little jar like this. You grab it, throw it in your grocery cart, and you use it for whatever you need it for, right? The other thing that we do is not only are you putting this in your grocery cart, but you might also be putting in your grocery cart something that already has chives in it. For example, maybe you are buying a seasoning or a ranch dressing, or it could be anything. It could be any kind of a mix, a salad dressing, or like a powdered packaged salad dressing or seasoning that has chives in it. If you had 4 ounces to a pound of your spice or seasoning in stock, in jars like this, full all the time, you could whip together in no time whatever it is you need. Whether it be ranch seasoning, Italian seasoning, do you need a steak seasoning? You know, I've created my own steak seasoning. This is why I have minced onion and garlic, everything bagel seasoning. This is what we're going to be making later on. I'm going to show you how to make an everything bagel seasoning by stuff that you just have in your stock. So this is a great way for you to save money and to start challenging everything that's in your pantry. Now let me show you what my backup stock of seasoning and spices looks like. Okay, guys, here are my spices and my seasonings. These are things that I use on a regular basis. I've got garlic pepper and garlic powder, ginger, Italian seasoning that we make on our own by just mixes that we have. Somewhere in here, I also have, oh, here's my ranch seasoning that's empty, but I'm getting ready to make some more ranch seasoning. That would be like a packet of ranch seasoning that you would need for any kind of recipe. We use it for ranch burgers, but I have parsley, paprika, I have everything. I have it alphabetized, so it's very easy for me to find when I'm cooking right here in my stove. So this is a great way to keep, I have mustard seeds for pickling, as well as making my own mustard. This is a great way to keep things in stock in your house. And because we use these great little lids that I found on Amazon, they actually keep everything fresh. Now let's just say you've purchased a pound of, for instance, parsley, which I think this was a pound of parsley. And I had too much parsley to put into my seasoning, so I put it in one of these half-gallon jars for my long-term storage. The great thing about this is, I believe I have this sealed. Oh, I don't have this sealed, so this is great. I can show you. So I just filled this up, and sometimes I'm really good about sealing things, and sometimes I'm not. But you can seal this up a couple different ways that actually will keep it fresh for close to a year, if not more. So you can put an oxygen absorber in here, which will help pull the oxygen out of your jar. On top of that, you can actually do a food saver technique. You can either food save it with a food saver. I have this great little vacuum sealer for mason jars, and I basically just put that, it's one of my favorite kitchen tools. I actually just stick that on there for 15 or 20 seconds, and it will suck all of the air out of my mason jar. If it's something I'm worried that I'm not going to use in a year, I'm not too concerned with this because we use a lot of parsley around here. I use it for Italian seasoning, and I make some of my own sauces real quick before we go eat dinner, like a marinade. So if it's something that you are like, I'm not going to use for a year, or I'm afraid I'm not going to go through it, then I would probably throw an oxygen absorber in there just to make sure that you can keep it as fresh as long as possible. But you can see that keeps it really fresh, and that lid is on there. Then you can pop your lid off to get what you need to fill your container, and then you can just vacuum seal it and you're good to go. So this is a great way to buy in bulk and save yourself a ton of money. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to share with you a couple of things that I do in my kitchen with my bulk seasonings. We are going to make an everything bagel seasoning today, and I might even do a ranch seasoning because we're ready for some ranch seasoning mix, so I might just go ahead and do that. So we'll be right back. Let me get everything together and I'll show you what we're going to do. We are back and we are going to go ahead and make an everything bagel seasoning. So I have all of these things in stock. I've had to build this up, of course, into my storage so that I have all of these things available. But the reality is this is going to be a ton cheaper if you realized how much the chives were. Imagine all of your spices are probably close to that. So it seems insane to me that anybody would spend $600 on an ounce of parsley because they don't realize that that's what they're, or $600 a pound, because you don't realize that's what you're spending. You really just most people do not take the time to actually look at that. So imagine if you had all the seasonings in stock and you could prep something and have it available if you needed this. So I like an everything bagel seasoning for lots of things. I put it in my eggs. I love it with my avocado toast. And then also, I've not made bagels, but that is a plan of mine with my sourdough, is to make some bagels. So today, let's just start off with our seasoning mixes that we have. Oh, I forgot one thing. So what we have here is minced garlic, minced onion, black sesame seeds, white sesame seeds, some kosher salt, and some poppy seeds, okay? Now, I realize that these seeds are not very, they're pretty pricey to buy. I can't recall how much I ordered these last month, and I haven't used them yet. I've been building up a supply so that I would be able to make my own bagel seasoning. So it was pretty pricey for me to buy all of this up front, just because the poppy seeds and the sesame seeds were a little bit higher in price. But I went ahead and bought these last month. I bought the white and black sesame seeds and the poppy seeds last month. This month I ordered minced garlic and minced onion. I actually could have ordered those last month too, but I didn't realize that I was out of those. So that's why I did not make this last month. So we're going to go ahead and start, and we're going to start, I'm going to make probably like a double batch because I want it to fit into this pint jar. So I've just got some kosher salt here, and we're going to take a tablespoon, or 2 tablespoons that is, of salt, and 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. Then we're going to use our minced garlic. I'm going to pop open my minced garlic, and I'm also going to do 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Okay. Then our minced onion, we're going to take 2 tablespoons of minced onion. When you guys realize how easy this is, you're going to shoot yourself that you haven't done this in the past. Then let's see, then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of white sesame seeds, 2 tablespoons of black sesame seeds, and then we're going to actually do 4 tablespoons of poppy seeds. I love everything bagel seasoning. It's one of my favorite seasonings, and I feel like it's pretty versatile. So I'm just going to grab one of my wood lids here, and I'm going to mark on here that I made everything bagel seasoning. Now you could make a much bigger jar, but this actually will give you a pint of this. And I'm just going to mix it up. You could do this in a bowl if you want, but really it's just as easy just to put it into your ball jar and mix it up real good. And there you go. A perfect bagel, everything bagel seasoning, just on things that you had in your pantry. So let's move on to make another seasoning. I just want to show you how versatile it is for you to have all these basic seasonings, basic herbs, basic spices in stock, and how you can make pretty much anything in your kitchen. Okay, we're back, and I pulled out my empty ranch seasoning. This is my ranch seasoning container. It's empty. I need to fill that up, and so we're going to make some ranch seasoning. Now, I will tell you that it looks like 1 ounce. I wrote on the top of this, 1 ounce equals a packet of what you buy in the store. So if you're looking for like a packet of ranch dressing for a specific recipe, I would just write on the top here what you have. And we will add this recipe to our blog post later on, I promise, as well as the everything bagel seasoning. That will also be added to our blog post. So we will make sure that those two things are added. But what we need for this recipe is a powdered buttermilk, which of course I bought from Azure Standard. And I'm going to make I think I'm going to make a double portion because I think that's what I had to do last time. And we like to mix ranch seasoning into our hamburger before we make burgers. And we make ranch burgers that way. That's the way I use most of my ranch seasoning. I don't make a lot of ranch dressing, but this would be the same recipe you would use for a ranch dressing too. Now, since I've never done that, I would just look up the instructions on how to make a ranch dressing from the seasoning packet so that'll help you. We're going to start out with a cup of buttermilk. Oh, I'm making a mess. So this is a cup measurement here. And you could put this in a big jar and mix it up like I just did with the everything seasoning, but I don't think I'm going to have a lot of extra room, and I want to make sure it gets mixed really well. So that's why I did not do that. So you're going to do a cup of your buttermilk powder. Then we're going to do, this recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of parsley. Make sure I have that right. Yeah, 3 tablespoons of parsley, but we're doubling the recipe, so I'm going to do 6 tablespoons of parsley. Then we're going to go to garlic. Now you could do minced garlic, but honestly, you want this to be nice and powdery, and so I do not use minced garlic. I use a garlic powder. Okay guys, so you can see that all I'm doing is mixing this up really good, all the seasonings, and just make sure that everything is good and mixed up before we put it into our ball jar. Now, if you wanted to make a bunch of this and put it in packets or smaller containers, you could absolutely do that. You could actually measure out 1 ounce and food save that in little baggies, or even put it in Ziploc baggies if that would be preferable. And then they're already pre-measured out, ready to go for whatever mix or whatever recipe you needed it for. And as you can see, I got buttermilk powder everywhere because it's just really easy to make a mess. So that's what our seasoning looks like. And smells great, looks great. Back to finishing up our ranch seasoning, and I'm going to just use my funnel here and pour my ranch seasoning into my container. I'm hoping I don't have too much, but I might. And that's okay if I do. I can just put it in another storage container in my pantry. But nope, looks like doubling that recipe fit a quart jar just perfect, which is going to be great as we're entering the summer months, getting ready to enter the summer months, and we're going to do a lot of grilling out. And so I want to make sure I've got my ranch seasoning all ready to go. So we hope you've enjoyed this video. This is just a snapshot of what you can do if you have lots of seasonings in stock, spices in stock. And the other thing is too, is that if you are one that doesn't want to buy seasonings or spices, but you want to grow them, it would be way cheaper to even do that. And that is something that we do in the summer too. We've got some thyme, parsley, rosemary, peppermint, lemon balm for teas that we are growing this summer. And then you can either dry them naturally on a screen or hang them up to dry, or you can put them in a dehydrator as well and dry your herbs. And then you've got herbs as well. So that would be even a cheaper way of doing this little project. So we hope you've enjoyed this. And if you did find this helpful and you got any kind of education here, if you could like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. Thanks. Bye. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Please like and subscribe.
Please like and subscribe.